Before we get started, I just want to say that I won't be going into detail about why this video took so long, as I just want to release the video now. I will, however, make a video about this next time, going into more detail about why this video was in production hell for so long. With all that said, let's begin, shall we?
We return to the duel, and Maxie is, to put it bluntly, pretty pissed off. Seeing that his brother's now gone, Joey and Serenity are a bit concerned, wary of what Maxie had planned, but Tristan points out that Maxie doesn't have the seal of orichalcos, therefore even if Maxie wins, no one else is going to lose their souls. The two siblings are relieved by that fact for a brief moment, but Maxie says, "I don't need the seal to kill you." Everyone becomes silent, surprised by Maxie's comment, a bit afraid of what Maxie could do. However, Joey isn't thrown off for long as he begins his turn. Joey orders his red-eyed black dragon to destroy Maxie's only monster, the Grand Tiki Elder, destroying the card and bringing Maxie down to his last life points and his last legs. However, Maxie activates his trap card, negate attack, stopping the attack and ending the battle phase. Now, it's Maxie's turn. Maxie draws. He activates Card of Sanctity. This is the anime version, not the terrible official card. Now everyone draws until they have 6 cards in their hands. Maxie now activates Monster Reborn, reviving one of his fallen monsters. Let's say this is the Headless Swordsman. Now, he tributes his Swordsman and Grand Tiki Elder to summon his most powerful monster. A monster whose power is greater than the legendary Blue Eyes White Dragon. Say hello to the Mass Beast, Descardius! Joey and Serenity both look in fear at this massive beast of a card. Maxie equips Mass Beast Descardius with the Axe of Despair, raises his attack power to 4,300. Now the Mass Beast Descardius will attack Red Eyes. Joey's monsters destroy, dealing 1,600 points of damage to Joey's life points, leaving Joey with only 100 points left. But something terrible happens. Joey actually takes damage from the attack and is knocked back by a great distance. Serenity yells terrified, "No, Joey!" Serenity and Tristan run over to Joey, checking if he's okay. Joey is lucky to be alive, but he's knocked out. Serenity is begging for her brother to wake up, horrified and scared, yelling for him to be okay. But in response, Maxie is getting impatient. He wants to get back to the duel. But Serenity isn't having any of it. She yells at Maxie, "What did you do to my brother?" Maxie responds, "It's just my little gift." Serenity doesn't understand what Maxie means. What did he do to Joey? But it hits her.
Joey took damage when the seal was off the field.
In the duel, the players did take actual damage when he was on the field, but Joey was damaged after the seal left. Maxie answers the question that Serenity has on her mind. Maxie has some sort of psychic power to the monsters and to the game itself. Alright, so I took this idea from another Yu-Gi-Oh show, 5Ds. In that show, there's a character called Akita. She is a psychic duelist with the power to make damage real. It shows up multiple times in the show. The concept is quite interesting, to say the least. I also think it does work within the show since it's established that some duelists do have a special connection to monsters, but usually they do have some sort of connection with ancient Egypt, which Maxie's powers kind of relate to, which we will explain now. Maxie reveals how he got his power. This was many years ago, back when Maxie and Luther were children. The two wanted to steal something from the museum, which on that day had an ancient Egypt display. They tried to steal some sort of small tablet depicting a duel, but Maxie accidentally hits his head on it, having a small part of the rock scratching his skull. The two were found by the security, but they managed to give them the slip, although they didn't get the tablet. Over the course of these next few years, Maxie discovers that he has this power within him, able to talk to monsters and eventually summon them for real when he grabs a duel disc one day. He always values his monsters, enjoying talking to them about the crazy stuff he steals, or at least he tries to steal, but he learned that he could damage people, so Luther told him not to duel or they'll be found out. Maxie was heartbroken, like he loved dueling, so when he said he can't play the game anymore with other people, it kind of broke his heart. But now, Maxie's going to use his power to wipe out Serenity and Joey from this world. Now the duel resumes, with Serenity having to duel Maxie on her own. To say that she's panicked and scared crapless would be an understatement. Her brother is a better duelist than her, so she feels more confident when she's dealing with him since she could rely on him. But now he's out of commission and she has to duel alone against Maxi, who seems to be far stronger than his brother, and she could face the chances of dying from one of his attacks. Therefore, she is a bit tense, so much that she's starting to make mistakes. Despite having the advantage of 6 cards in her hand, she just starts to turn all her monsters to defense mode as a measure to keep herself safe. But this doesn't work. For the next few rounds, Mass Beast just keeps slashing through Serenity's defenses. While she can just keep on summoning more monsters, it won't last forever. Plus, Maxi could summon more monsters when he gets them. So Tristan has to motivate Serenity to win the game. He has to keep on going. That's what Joey would have wanted. He trained you to never give up, so you believe in yourself and use what Joey taught you. This pep talk boosts Serenity's confidence and gets her head back into the game. Serenity draws and she gets Mirror Force. If she can use it when Mass Beast attacks, it would destroy it. So she summons Shadow Tamer into defense mode and places a card face down. Maxi turns goes. He attacks Shadow Tamer, but Serenity activates Mirror Force. However, Maxi has to counter it. He activates the trap card Trap Jammer, which negates Mirror Force, and Shadow Tamer is destroyed. But Maxi isn't done yet. He does something extreme. Maxi activates the spell card Mystical Space Typhoon and destroys its Axe of Despair. This catches Serenity off guard, but Maxi has a bear card in his hand. He activates the Claw of the Mass Beast. Basically, its effect is this. Whenever the Mass Beast Discardius destroys a monster card, the owner of that card loses 500 life points. So even with all her monsters in defense mode, Serenity won't be safe. She needs to plan fast, otherwise, Maxi will absolutely crush her. A few rounds pass. Serenity's monsters are wiped out one by one until Serenity only has 200 life points left. She draws her final card. It's just what she needed. Firstly, she will play Polymerization. Fusing 2 monsters in her hand, she summons St. Joan. Next, she will play the spell card Double Spell. All she needs to do is discard 1 card from her hand and she can activate any spell card from Maxi's graveyard, and she chooses the Axe of Despair, powering up St. Joan's life points to 3,800. St. Joan's attack and destroys Masked Beast. Maxi's now at 700 life points, Serenity at 200, and Joey is at 100, although he's out of the game. Although Maxi doesn't mind, he can now use his Masked Beast Discardius' special ability, summoning the Mask of Remnants to control St. Joan. However, Serenity anticipates this and plays Mystic Walk, sacrificing St. Joan and making the Mask of Remnants useless. However, Serenity powers up her brother's life points instead, healing him. Joey begins to wake up. His first thought is what's happening with Serenity, since he's a big brother. Big brothers are concerned about the little siblings and all that stuff. He's happy to see that Serenity is holding her own against Maxi, but he is scared when he learns Serenity used the healing card on him instead of herself. Serenity ends her turn with a face down. Maxi has had it. His rage has consumed him fully. He wants results now. Seeing that Serenity has no monsters, he can end the duel now. He summons Sangan. Seeing that it has enough attack points to wipe out Serenity's life points, he orders the monster to attack, much to the horror of Joey. But Serenity plays the trap card Call of the Haunted to bring back St. Joan. Maxi is shaken with fear, but it's late to call off the attack. He knows he's about to lose. Sangan is destroyed, and so is the last of Maxi's life points. Maxi collapses to the ground, having a mental breakdown. He failed. He lost his brother, and he couldn't avenge him. He thought it was his fault, since his brother did this all for him. He thought that if he did something differently, everything would have been fine, and his brother would still be here. But he is met by kindness by a surprising source. Serenity walks up to him and offers her condolences, much to Maxi, Tristan, and Joey's shock, the latter two being baffled. Serenity, what are you doing? He just tried to kill you and Joey. Yeah, he's bad business. He just lost his brother. You don't exactly take that well. Serenity looks over Luther's body. Serenity offers her hand in friendship to Maxi, saying that if Maxi comes with them, they can help him and his brother. They can save Luther from Darks, and then those two could be happy. It's not too late if he just comes with them. However, Maxi turns it down. He says, I can't. Not right now. It feels wrong. If we meet again, I'll think about it. Maxi walks very tired from the three. He goes to his brother. He sheds a few tears as he looks at his fallen family. Maxi summons Mass Beast Discardius to pick Luther up
and he walks away into the sunset. So why does Serenity offer kindness to crazy Maxie? Well, let me explain. She knows how deep a bond between siblings can be. Plus, this action does fit in with her character. In the Cyberworld arc, she did take care of Robo Tristan. Don't worry, he got better. Even though for a while, she thought that the robot was just that, a robot. Point is, she's a kind character who's very understanding. So she would try to reach out to Maxie, who she can relate to because she knows what it's like to lose a sibling. Serenity feels terrible not being able to convince Maxie to join them, but Joey comforts her. Knowing Serenity meant well, it's just Maxie's in an odd place right now. Serenity says that she hopes Maxie will be okay. But all three of them notice the big beam of light in the air. Thinking that it is the Pharaoh, they make haste. Therefore, they run like hell over there. They meet up with the Pharaoh and continue on their journey. The gang reaches the city where similar beats happen. Joey is separated from Tristan and Serenity. His fight with Valen still happens. They begin the duel. Mecha stuff happens, you know the usual. While that happens, Serenity and Tristan are desperately looking for Joey throughout the city. Along the way, finding some of those demon guys. They haven't made any progress finding Joey, and now they are surrounded by demons. But they are saved by an unlikely source. Maxie, also strung up in his own sick ride, with his masked beast, he says that he knows where Joey and Valen are dueling, so he'll take Serenity there to help her brother out. Tristan's against this because, well, Maxie's kind of evil, and almost killed them earlier. But Serenity goes with Maxie anyway, much to the annoyance of Tristan. During this ride, Serenity asks Maxie why is he trying to help her save Joey. After all, she and Joey did send Luther the seal. Maxie explains he's doing this because he doesn't want any other sibling to go through what he went through when his brother got absorbed. He understands that family bond. Plus, he does owe Serenity one because she did offer compassion and mercy to him, even though he tried to kill Joey and her earlier. It's the least that Maxie can do. However, he isn't going to help Serenity out anymore after this. Maxie doesn't want to risk battling any of his former colleagues because he's too terrified to fight any of them while they have the Orichalcos. Serenity understands Maxie's view and doesn't try to change his mind. She's just happy that Maxie is trying to save her brother. Speaking of which, Maxie and Serenity manage to reach a duel between Joey and Valen. At the same time, Mai shows up. Serenity's taking a bit back. Still hard to see Mai like this. It brings pain to her. The duel between Joey and Valen plays out the same. Joey becomes a mecha warrior and beats the crap out of Valen. And Valen becomes one with the Force, or the Orichalcos in this case. Now it's time for the big battle. Mai gets into position to challenge Joey, who's super weak after his duel with Valen. However, Serenity steps in, saying that she will take Joey's spot. Joey is like, no, you can't do this. This is a bad idea. But Serenity stands in front of Joey, between him and Mai. Serenity knows that Joey isn't strong enough to fight anymore, so she'll take his place. Joey isn't having any of it though. Saying he won't let his sister risk her soul, Mai chimes in saying she wants to fight Joey, that's what she came here for. However, Serenity looks back very determined and she says, if you want to get to my brother, you have to go through me first. Mai knows Serenity isn't going to move, so she'll fight Serenity first, then move on to Joey later. However, Joey is still not on board. He refuses to risk his little sister's life. Serenity glances back to her brother with a smile that always warms her brother's heart. I'm going to be okay. After all, did have the best duelist I know teach me. Joey gives Serenity a small smirk. Just be okay, little sis. Just believe in yourself and your deck. Serenity nods. Before he goes, Joey hands Serenity the Claw Hermos and says, good luck. Serenity is honored by what Joey gave her, saying she will use Hermos well. Joey lies down on the fence nearby and watches the duel. Maxie joins, wanting to watch the battle. Also, Luther's body's there. Why? Max needed a place to leave him so he could find Serenity. This was the safest place he could choose. So yeah. Note. Now, this change might be the most drastic and controversial part of this what if. This is the big event from the original show. This is the emotional battle between two old friends, one trying to save the other from the darkness. But, well, it doesn't work more under the circumstances that I have established in this timeline. Serenity, of course, would fight for her brother when he's injured. And this does still have the emotional strength of the OG version. A person doing all they can to save their friend. It's also different since now we have two people trying to save Mai, which will come into play later. Mai versus Serenity. Now, it's the big battle between two old friends. The hardest battle Joey will ever have to watch, seeing Serenity is fighting Mai, and both their souls are on the line. The duel begins. Serenity's development to a good duelist is shown, as she does hold her own against Mai at the start. Serenity knows about the really deadly cards in Mai's deck and is prepared to fight them. Like when Mai activates Harpy's Phoenix formation,
It looks like Serenity's done for, but she has an ace up her sleeve. Or in this case, face down. The trap card, Curse, Seal, the Forbidden Spell. What this card does is that you discard one card from your hand and negate the activation of a spell card your opponent activates. And for the rest of the duel, your opponent can't use that card. So it stops Mai from destroying Serenity right away, but there are still many tricks Mai still has. During this duel, Serenity and Joey are trying to reach out to Mai, similar to how Joey did in the OG version. While it isn't effective at first, slowly, Mai begins to remember the good times she had with Joey, Serenity, and the rest of the gang. How much she missed those days, wishing she could go back. Those thoughts become stronger and stronger as the duel progresses. During that time, Serenity struggles against Mai. Mai's monsters, the Cyber Harpies, are stronger now thanks to the seal, their current attack points being 2300. The amount of firepower that can easily decimate most of Serenity's lower level monsters. So Mai blows through a large amount of Serenity's life points, leaving the score to be Mai 4000, Serenity 1200. It's only when Serenity summons her St. Joan monster to hold off the endless amounts of harpies, but she has another ace up her sleeve. Serenity activates the Horn of Hermos to fuse with one of her fairy monsters, creating the Sword of the Fairies. Note: yes, I made this cover up, but in my defense, the OG show did this all the time, where they made up cards for the duels, so I'm allowed a freebie here. What this card does is that the fairy monster that has this card gains 1000 attack points and gains the power to attack twice in one turn. Thanks to this power-up, Serenity manages to take down 2 of my Cyber Harpies, and since both of them had 2300 attack points, Mai loses a total of 3000 life points. Serenity has a chance again. Serenity and Joey try again to reach Mai, which is slowly beginning to work. Mai's slowly beginning to regain her senses, but the seal strength does remain strong in her mind, and Mai still has one last trick up her sleeve. Mai's turn, and the last turn of the duel. Mai has one Cyber Harpy on the field. Mai holds 2 cards in her hands. Serenity has St. Joan with Sword of the Fairies and another face down. Firstly, Mai activates Pot of Greed, so she gets to draw 2 more cards. In total, she has 3 cards now. Next, Mai will play Monster Reborn to bring back a Cyber Harpy. Next, she will play Black Pendant, a magic card to equip to one of her Cyber Harpies, increases the attack points to 2900. Finally, she will play Harpy's Feather Duster, destroying Sword of the Fairies and Serenity's face down. Oh no! Joey is frightened for what Mai is about to do. Mai destroys St. Joan with her powered up Harpy, leaving Serenity defenseless. Mai is about to end the duel when Serenity speaks up. Mai, I know you can't do this. Mai is taken aback by this comment. I know you. You wouldn't hurt your friends. That's not the true you. You are my friend. Mai is shaken by this comment. A bit of her older self begins to come out, but the seal still controls her, although barely. But one last push is made. Mai, I know you've been through a lot. Sorry I wasn't there for you. I should have known. I just want to tell you, I will be your friend to the end. Please, spare Serenity. Your family. Mai's eyes shot right open. Her mind begins to race as the seal spell is broken. Mai's free, but it's too late now. She's already in the game with the seal on. She can't just leave without someone losing her soul. So Mai accepts there's only one way out. Mai forfeits the duel. The seal begins to close around her as it begins to take her soul. Joey and Serenity run towards Mai, Joey holding her in his arms. Joey says he's sorry, he should have tried something. But Mai says it's okay, it's the only way out for Serenity. I deserve this after everything. Just promise me, defeat Darts and save the world. Mai's soul is taken, leaving her lifeless body behind. Joey and Serenity cry over her body, devastated by losing their family. They cry over her body until the rest of the gang shows up. They are shocked to see Mai defeated, seeing their old friend reduced to a soulless husk. The gang comforts Joey and Serenity through this terrible moment. Joey says Darts is going down. He's going to get Mai's soul back. Yuki says he will defeat Darts and avenge their fallen friends. And then Maxi re-enters the scene. He says that he knows where Raphael is, and he can get the Pharaoh and the gang to him. The beats play out like in the original. The gang goes and meets Raphael, although in this version, Mai and Luther are being carried around. In Luther's case, he's being carried by the mass beast Discardius. Pharaoh duels Raphael with Joey's card, although Joey gives the Pharaoh the card himself. The duel plays out like the original version. We learn about Raphael's origins, we see the epic fight between them, and the Pharaoh winning out. The beats play out similarly when in regards to the build-up to the final battle, when they go onto the military carrier to take them to Dart's lair and arrive by the chopper. Although we do get a little moment where Maxie is staying on the chopper with the bodies of Luther and Mai, saying he'd rather not see Darts, frightened that Darts will kill him.
So he chills back in the chopper,
playing Go Fish with his monsters. Now we get the final battle between Yugi, Kaiba, and Darts. Now in this version, Joey still doesn't fight Darts with Yugi and Kaiba. He's still a bit damaged after that battle with Valen. Also, Serenity isn't fighting because she isn't strong enough, and she isn't the main character. So she joins the gang, watching Yugi and Kaiba dueling. The duel plays out the same like it did in the original show. Kaiba loses, but Yugi manages to bounce back and beat Darts with the help of the 3 Night guys. But the ending of the arc has changed drastically. The Leviathan doesn't show up. For a reminder, in the show, Darts' plan
against the Pharaoh's team. The Leviathan,
the super demon from space, to take over the world. It's also what caused him to go crazy and become a cult leader after the death of his wife
and the fall of his kingdom, Atlantis.
Darts realizes after he's beat, he doesn't have enough soul power to bring out his monster. So Darts decides plan B. He decides to absorb all the energy for himself. If he can't summon the Leviathan, he might as well take over the world in his name. And now we get the final battle between the Pharaoh and Darts. This final battle is drastically different. For one,
Darts is battling with his own monsters against the Pharaoh's team,
which consists of the 3 Night guys, Dart Magician, and Dart Magician Girl. Darts orders his monsters to attack the Pharaoh, but when they're about to hit,
the Pharaoh's team
simply destroys Darts' monsters with ease. Darts is shocked. Impossible! I have so many souls. You couldn't have done anything against me. The Knights answered, you have the power, but doesn't mean you can use it. Your body isn't strong enough to handle all that power. Darts is unhinged, knowing all he has worked for all these past years has been thrown away. You have lost, Darts. Never! He keeps summoning more monsters to attack, but it's all for nothing. He is forced to fall back as the Pharaoh keeps moving forward towards Darts. Darts becomes desperate. He keeps throwing more monsters at the Pharaoh, but the creatures simply die every time they get near the Pharaoh's servants. Both duels are at Darts' throne room, where the god cards lie. Darts is still defiant as ever, but the Pharaoh decides enough is enough. Now we get a callback to the very first episode of the show, probably the most iconic. The Pharaoh raises his hand as a great amount of energy explodes for him, and the eye symbol appears on his head. Darts is horrified. The power of the Pharaoh is about to be revealed to this man. I banish the evil within you, forever! The Pharaoh banishes the evil within Darts, and into the Shadow Realm. Darts falls to the ground, unconscious and exhausted. The Pharaoh walks over to the 3 snakeheads and takes back the god cards, and they are back in the proper hands. Darts reawakens back to his old self, before the old cult thing. His old family spirits come and help out their loved one. They thank Yuri for saving the world and Darts. They will forever be grateful for his deed. The Pharaoh thanks them for helping him along the way. He will never forget them. The old ghosts smile and disappear into the afterlife, finally resting in peace. Now, you might be wondering why I changed the ending drastically. Well, it kind of makes sense from the events here. Since Joey never lost, Darts never had his soul. Without his soul, the Leviathan couldn't have been summoned, so the big battle couldn't have happened.
Now, you could argue that Luther's soul could have compensated for this, but no.
Luther is nowhere near as powerful as Joey. He is mostly carried by the seal, his more talented brother. If this was Maxie, then yes, since he's a more powerful duelist of the two, but that's not the case here. Also, from a narrative point of view, I want to cut it down a lot. The original battle between Darts, Yugi, and Kaiba did take a whole lot of time, as in it's the longest battle in the show at 6 episodes, 8 if you count the Great Leviathan battles, which I do count because it's Darts, there's the Pharaoh, and Kaiba with Joey's help. Now, I do like the OG battle a lot, especially when the god cards come out. That blew my mind as a kid, but it still dragged out the final battle, which had a perfect ending with the first battle with Darts. Plus, this version is still a pretty epic way to end the arc. Darts throwing monsters at the Pharaoh, but nothing works. Plus, we get a little peek at the Pharaoh's true power, which will be shown in Season 5. So I decided to trim it down to end it quicker. I also have planned to have a proper wrap-up episode. The epilogue shows what has happened with these characters after the big battle, similar to how the last episode of Season 3 did it, showing where these characters have gone off to. But we shall get to that soon. Back with the Pharaoh, the whole of Atlantis is starting to fall apart since Darts is gone. So Yuki gathers the gang up and jumps back on the helicopter and flies away from the collapsing city. Later, the gang lands on a nearby beach, since it's the closest thing nearby to land on. The gang has got their friends back. Raphael, Mai, and Luther have all woken up. Maxi's ecstatic that his older brother's return, but he does say, "Well, I told you the card will steal your soul. I miss you too, Maxi." We also have a moment where Joey and Serenity tearfully reunite with Mai. Yuki and the Pharaoh are thanking the Night guys for helping save the world. The Knights are honored to serve alongside the Pharaoh, wishing him the best as they disappear. We now have a moment of levity where these characters celebrate and are relieved that Darts has been defeated. It's great. It's heartfelt. It's a good thing that has finally happened to these characters. We got a moment where Joey and Serenity are hugging Mai, happy she is free from Darts' control. But Maxie and Luther leave. Seeing that they don't really need Yuki in the gang anymore, Joey's a bit angry since the Pharaoh did save Luther and neither the two brothers have said thank you. But Maxie turns back and say, "I was about to say that. Jeez, give me more time. Have a bit more respect. I did save you. My sister saved me. You were just watching. And who drove her there? Who else knew you were there? And who helped you even after you made my brother lose his soul? That's right. Me. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm just as responsible." "Why you?" "Serenity, I just want to say thank you for giving me another chance. Let's do it again sometime. Yuki, thank you for saving my brother. Now excuse me, I got things to do. Let's go, Luther." "Who made you in charge?" "I did. You know, the guy who knew Gertz was a bad guy." "Oh, not this again. Of course this again." Everyone just looks confused by the actions of the two brothers. But there's an underlying problem. Mai's guilt. Even though she was brainwashed by Darts to do all those horrible things, she still did those horrible things.
Add on her PTSD when
She was in the Shadow Realm, has further damaged her mind, and now her mind is haunted by the actions she did. Mai thinks she has to figure out what to do next. And the only way she thinks she can do it is that she needs to find out who she is. The Mai before the Shadow Realm is gone. She's been lost for so long, she needs to rediscover herself.
So as quickly as she came back,
Mai begins to leave. Mai says she's sorry for everything she did to her friends and many others she has harmed. She's honored that Joey and Serenity didn't give up on her, but she needs to be alone for a while. The gang tries to stop Mai from leaving. They don't want to lose Mai again. They beg her not to go and demand her to stay.
Tia says
They can help her, and she doesn't have to be alone anymore. But Mai refuses, saying, "I can't. I've already have put you guys through so much. I need to do this on my own." But Joey isn't going to take this. He keeps begging for her not to go, saying that she is his friend and he won't
abandon her.
But Mai says not to worry. Both of them will meet again, and they will have that duel. Mai looks back to her friends one more time and says, "Thank you. I love you all." Mai leaves. Raphael also leaves, seeing that he has no purpose of being here anymore. He does thank the Pharaoh for saving him, and he'll forever be grateful. The season has a bittersweet ending to it. Mai has been saved, but she still has PTSD from being in the Shadow Realm and all the horrible things she has done, and she needs to leave to go find herself. Our heroes are at a loss. Just as soon as they got their friend back, they lose her. But positivity is ahead of our heroes. As the Pharaoh discovers more and more about his past, these little threads will lead to the final season of the show and the culmination of the last 4 seasons to something truly epic.
Thank you all for watching. Glad to have finally got this video out. I'd like to thank my artist again for helping me out. She's amazing. I will leave a link to her socials in the description below. Thank you again all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.